Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity, yum. It's like a treat.
Gotta love that Taco Tuesday theme song. Very much appreciate y'all tuning in. We're gonna enjoy our Taco Tuesday today. I want to tell you, I know what I'm gonna have today. I know today we're gonna be having some sort of pork tacos. I don't know what it is, but right now my daughter has she has some sort of a pork roast or whatever it is in the crock pot, and maybe it's gonna be pulled pork tacos. I don't know, but it's going to be delicious. So I'm looking forward to that on this fine Taco Tuesday. Would love to hear about, what kind of tacos y'all are going to be partaking of this fine Taco Tuesday. So let us know. Just so you know, if you're watching this live on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Rumble, just know that we're following your comments. And if we find you saying something interesting, we're going to go ahead and share it with the audience. That's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Just go ahead and put your comment in the comment section, and we will go ahead and share it with the audience, with the rest of the audience. Thank you once again, though, for tuning in. By the way, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. All right, before we get into today's topics, you know what we got to do. Got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, because guess what? That's how we pay the bills. We're going to start off with a quick shout out to the folks over at Hitman Industries. If you are looking to do a rebuild, if you're looking to just rebarrel your current AR platform rifle, there is no better place to go than Hitman Industries. You can find them at hitmanindustries.net, where you will find a full line of both rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase. Once again, if you are a first responder and you've never purchased from them before, feel free to hit them up, because you're going to get a discount. That's hitmanindustries.net. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly, working to help elect conservatives at all level of government in the state of California, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Visit them, please, at cragop.org. That's cragop.org. Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. And Lord knows they are definitely the conscience of the state of California. So check them out today. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters, the best in concealed carry tactical holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Helping Americans wear guns. That's right. Just go to their website, hogholsters.com, and make sure you use discount code The Rundown. It's all caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there. You're going to get a discount on us. So check them out today. That's hogholsters.com. And then we've got the place to go to get all things tactical except the gun. They've got everything. I mean, we're talking indoor gear, outdoor gear, cold weather, hot weather, whether you need hats, whether you need backpacks, whether you need water bottles, like I said, all things tactical except for the gun. They got fast shipping. They have a huge selection, and they've got very competitive prices. Once again, please check them out today, uscombatgear.com. All right. Originally, I had another topic planned for today, but as you can see, or if you've been following the news at all, you know it's going down right now over in Israel. You know that Hezbollah, well, let's just be clear. The Iranians have decided that they are going to attack Israel. They've decided that they feel they need to retaliate for the deaths of the Hezbollah, the leaders of Hezbollah. For if you do not already know, Hezbollah is a proxy group for Iran, and so they felt it necessary that they needed to attack. Now, for those of you who think, oh, well, this is not really any big deal, they can't really do any harm, yada, yada, yada. I want you to have an idea of what it's like, just a real brief idea of what it's like, the sort of thing that this looks like there in Israel. Now, imagine you're just chilling outside one fine summer evening, and all of a sudden you see this coming across the border. You see this coming in the sky above you.
נפילות, אחי, נפילות של החיים בנבטים. נפילות בנבטים, אחי. נפילות קשות בנבטים, שומע? וואו, 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 וואו. וואו! הכל נופל לנבטים, אני אומר לך, מתקפה אחת החזקות. אימא'לה, זהו, למקלט.
So, to be clear, now, that's not the only thing that was occurring down there. Now, this, once again, these are live updates that are coming to you. This is from Fox News. It says, Israel under attack. Iran launches missiles. Gunmen kill at least 8 near Tel Aviv. And here you've got the thing, fast facts. It says Israel Defense Forces says its troops have begun limited, localized, and targeted raids against Hezbollah terrorists inside Lebanon. Iran launched an anticipated ballistic missile attack. So these are not just the normal missiles that they fire. These are ballistic missiles that they're firing against Israel on Tuesday, firing hundreds of projectiles through Israeli military. Although Israeli military says there were no initial reports of casualties, a mass shooting Tuesday in Jaffa near a city near Tel Aviv left 8 people dead, officials say. So in other words, folks, this is a full-scale attack. Well, some people may not consider it a full-scale attack. They may say, well, you know, they're really not doing a whole lot of damage. You know, I've heard other commentators say this, but I'm going to throw this out there. It's kind of like saying, well, if someone tries to hit you in the head with a baseball bat, but you're very agile and you're able to keep them from hitting you in the head with a baseball bat, well, then that's not really attempted murder or attempted assault. In fact, it's not really even a crime until they actually make contact with the baseball bat. Now, their intent doesn't matter. All that matters is, did they make contact with your dome? And this is what they're trying to get us to believe here, is that Israel, well, you're not really, I mean, this is not really an attack on you because, well, you know, only 8 people died, right? Now, mind you, this is a group, I mean, these are people, and then when I say these people, I'm talking about the West. I'm talking about, in particular, the left in the West. I'm talking about the folks at the UN. I'm talking about these folks who are trying to tell Israel that you have a right to defend yourself, except don't defend yourself. You know, you have a right to try and keep from getting hit, but you don't have a right to stop the people who are trying to hit you. That's what they're being told by Kamala Harris. That's what they're being told by Joe Biden. That's what they're being told by the United Nations. Well, the United Nations is just saying, you don't even have a right to defend yourself. The United Nations is just telling them, you need to just lay down and die. That's what they're telling the nation of Israel. You need to just lay down and let these Iranians, let the Hezbollah, let Hamas kill you, kill your people, kill your children. That seems to be the thing. It's like, you have a right to defend yourself, except don't defend yourself. It's like this, they are completely and utterly unaware that the way in which one of the most effective ways in which to defend yourself against an attack is with a forceful response, is to also attack with force. And do whatever you can to cripple that person or that group that is attempting to do you harm. And that's exactly what Israel is doing. That's what they've already done to Hamas, and they're just about done there in Hamas, and that's what they're now doing to Hezbollah. Now keep in mind, over the last year, Hezbollah has fired something like over 8,000 rockets into Israel, in particular into northern Israel. They have made it so that northern Israel is it's unlivable. And yet Israel is being told by Joe Biden, you heard him, we played the video yesterday where he told him to stand down. He told him there should be a ceasefire. Why should there be a ceasefire when someone is constantly shooting rockets at you? Once again, it's like saying, that guy over there keeps shooting his gun at me, but I don't get to shoot back until he actually hits me. And even then, if he actually hits me, if he just grazes me, well, nope, that's not cause enough to fight back. Nope, it's got to be a near-death wound before you finally get a chance to shoot back or to fight back. That's what they're telling Israel. Now, I just want you to think about that again. I want you to think about that video again. Here, I'll play another one for you. And I want you to imagine if this was coming across the border from Canada or from Mexico. I want you to think about this and ask yourself this question. How long would you wait, or would you say we should wait before we retaliate? Or how much more damage do you think we should have to sustain before we retaliate? Now, mind you, if it weren't for the Iron Dome, if it weren't for the technology that they have there that allows them to intercept a number of these rockets, and almost all of these rockets, we would be looking at thousands of people dead. So in other words, the only reason why they're alive is because of their technology. Now, this is technology that many here in the U.S. do not want them to have, that many in the Middle East have said it's unfair that they have it. Now, mind you, Israel does not just indiscriminately launch rockets into other countries. When they do, they are firing specifically at enemies. And I'll tell you what, when they do, like the way they took out the leader of Hezbollah, think about this. They dropped a succession of 2,000-pound bombs on the headquarters of Hezbollah until they finally took out that dude. In other words, they're called bunker busters for a reason. Well, they dropped a bunch of bunker busters on his butt, and he is now gone. And civilian casualties is at a minimum. And once again, I've said this before in this program, and I'll continue to say it. Right now, Israel, between their war with Hezbollah, between their war with Hamas, and soon to be their war with Iran, they are running one of the most efficient military operations in modern history. With the number of civilians compared to the number of combatants killed, we're talking minuscule compared to any other numbers, including numbers put up by the United States of America. And yet, they are still being accused of genocide. Now, I just want you to understand, you don't attempt to do that. You don't warn people and encourage them to leave. You don't try to be strategic in your military operation. If your goal is to create a genocide and kill all Muslims, one would think that would not be your goal. One would think that if your goal was genocide and to kill all Muslims, 20% of your population, your voting population, your civilian population, of those who serve in your military, of those who vote and serve in your, they wouldn't be Muslim if your goal was genocide. Unless of course, you're just very bad at the genocide thing. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're saying. Maybe they're saying that they're just bad at the genocide thing. But folks, let me tell you right now, it is about to go down. You can say there's a lot of things you can say about Netanyahu. I think there are a lot of folks who would say a lot of things about Netanyahu. I don't know enough about his time there serving, his time as prime minister to know. I mean, there's a lot of accusations about a lot of things. But I think when it comes down to some of this stuff, I think you can safely say, dude, don't play. Dude, don't play. Right here it says, Netanyahu says Iran made a big mistake with missile attack and will pay for it. Iran made a big mistake, says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the opening of the Security Cabinet meeting in Jerusalem shortly after Iranian missile attack quote, and they will pay, and it will pay for it. The strike on Israel early in the evening failed, he says. Quote, it was thwarted thanks to Israel's air defense system, which is the most advanced in the world, says Prime Minister, thanking the U.S. for its support as well. Quote, the regime of Iran does not understand our determination to defend ourselves and our determination to retaliate against our enemies, says Netanyahu. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar and top Hamas military commander Mohammed Deif did not understand this. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and Hezbollah chief of staff Fawad Shukr, anyway, did not understand this. And there are probably those in Tehran who do not understand this. By the way, for those of you who do not know, those folks are all DED, dead. Did I spell that wrong? Yes, I did. DEA, dead. But I like DED, dead better. Anyway, they all dead. The point being, don't mess with Israel. Oh, no. Or let me start back. FAFO. That's what it is. F around and find out. They did, and they are. I will 100% stand behind Israel's right to do exactly what they need to do in order to put this enemy down. And that's exactly what it's going to take. And just keep in mind, and I'm just going to say this, Israel has already signed accords with multiple other countries, with several, at least 3 other Muslim nations. All they ask for is the right to exist. All they demand is that you respect their right to exist. For some reason, these are the folks who don't want to allow it. Now, I just want you to ask yourself this question. How do you have a ceasefire with someone who is fully 100% committed and is part of their mantra to kill you, to put an end to you and your people? How do you have peace with those people? You can't. I don't see how you can. How do you have a 2-state solution where the other state will have as its number one goal to kill you and to destroy your nation? Whenever I keep hearing people talk about this 2-state solution, they keep hearing them talk about ceasefire, that's all I keep thinking. And as far as I know, no one's solved that one. Anyway, folks, it's about to go down, so there's going to be a lot more news to be reported from Israel. So keep your eyes here. Keep your eyes on the reliable news sources. All right, next up this evening, we've got the vice presidential debate. Woo woo! That's right. It's Veep time, baby. That's right. It is Veep time, the debate that you all have been waiting for. It is going to be Tampon Tim Walz against J.D. Vance for the 2024 VP debate. It's going to be tonight. And, CBS has their things of, okay, what are we going to be looking for? But you know what? I figured, I don't care what CBS thinks we should be looking for. Let me tell you what I think we should be looking for. First, let's talk about what to expect from Tim Walz. If you're expecting Tim Walz to be the, wild and crazy, almost, Jim Carrey-like character who loses his mind every time he walks out in public, I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see somebody who's done this before, who's debated before. I mean, keep in mind, this guy's been in politics for 20 years. He's been a congressman, although he probably didn't probably have to debate very much as a congressman. But he's also run 2 gubernatorial campaigns, so I'm sure he's going to be at least somewhat experienced in debate. I think that what you're going to see is someone who's going to try to come across as likable. And I think to a certain degree that's going to be a mistake, because your job as a vice presidential candidate is to be an attack dog, is to go after the other side. And the problem that he's going to have is as he goes after J.D. Vance and as he goes after Donald Trump, he is going to be, he's going to be taking on an attack dog that is probably, in my opinion, much better at it than him. All right? We're talking a Yale graduate. We're talking someone who is a Marine who actually has been in combat. By the way, Tim Walz is going to have, at some point, he's going to have to defend some of the lies that he's been telling. And we've been going through this. We've talked about it on the show. He lied about being in war. He lied about weapons of war, right? We know that he in terms of his military service, he got out of his unit so that he didn't have to go into a place of war. But his argument's going to be, he did it so he could run for Congress. And I'm not going to say that's right. I'm not going to say that's wrong. I'm just saying that's going to be his defense. He's going to talk about China and his time in China, but he's also going to have to defend his record. Keep in mind, this is the most liberal ticket we have ever seen from any political party for president and vice president. And he's the more liberal one, at least outwardly, the more liberal one of the two. So you're going to have a chance to see as he starts to label, he's going to pull out the weird thing. He's going to start to label J.D. Vance as weird. And it's going to be real interesting as he starts to point to what's weird. Let's see. I'm really interested. And this takes us kind of where J.D. Vance is going to be. I want to see how J.D. Vance responds to that because I think that J.D. Vance is wise enough to talk about actually how normal he is, how very middle class he is, how so much like America he is. You know, the fact that he comes from working class roots, the fact that he comes from a dysfunctional family, and he fully says that. That's where the whole hillbillyology thing comes from. The very fact that he's had to deal with common sense before. The very fact that he, by the way, now as a Yale graduate, he has experience in debating at the highest levels, running for Senate. I've seen him. Here's the thing. The biggest thing for J.D. Vance is going to be being likable. And if you want to be likable, here's the deal. Be funny. Have your lines already ready. Trust me, with Tim Walz, it's all there. All you have to do is talk about when he starts bringing up weird and normal and be like, well, what's weird is mandating tampons in boys' bathrooms. That's what's weird. You keep telling people, mind your own damn business. This is from a guy who set up a tip line to have people snitch on their neighbors if they have friends over during COVID. I mean, this is the sort of stuff. And then Tim Walz, he also has to, and I say Tim Walz, J.D. Vance also has to point to and reveal exactly who Kamala Harris is. The very fact that she won't do any interviews, the very fact that her campaign says she's changed her positions, but she's made it very clear her values have not changed. And he's got to make Tim Walz defend Kamala Harris. The problem is that I don't think Tim Walz knows where Kamala Harris is or where she stands. So anyway, that's going to be an interesting thing. Really looking forward to seeing that debate tonight. And we'll start off tomorrow's show with some debate analyses. We'll talk a little bit about how it went. Maybe hopefully we'll have some excerpts from the debate as well. All right, next up, I want to bring this up. I actually first saw this. It was a Twitter post from the Daily Shooter. The Daily Shooter actually was sharing something from the Firearms Policy Coalition. Now, the state of Florida, as you know, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, they were hit with a hurricane. And thankfully, Georgia and Florida, well, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad. Now, North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee, Western Carolina and Eastern Tennessee, they're dealing with some major issues relating in particular to the aftermath, the torrential rains that took place. So they're dealing with flooding and a bunch of that stuff. But prior to this happening, prior to the flood, a city there in Florida, Okeechobee Police Department actually issued a state of emergency. Now, the state of emergency included or basically mentioned or basically was basically a restriction on the ability to purchase, sell, give away, or possess firearms or ammunition. And it says here, and I'll read this for you, it says, before Hurricane Helene made landfall, several cities and municipalities declared local states of emergency to ensure funds would be available for storm-related repairs. One city's local state temporary of emergency order has stirred controversy from gun advocates. On Monday, Okeechobee Police Department admitted to enacting the wrong declaration last week, which mistakenly included a gun ban. Firearms Policy Coalition, a nonprofit gun rights organization headquartered in California, recently posted a notice on X criticizing the police department for adopting the order, which banned the sale of guns and ammunition and prohibited the public firearm possession by anyone other than law enforcement or military members. By the way, this includes anyone with a concealed carry permit. No one in public. And here's a copy of the post. You can see the post here and the notice. Now, the order was initially cited a Florida statute 870.044 went into effect Thursday, September 26, for a few hours. It was signed by Police Chief Donald Hagen ahead of Hurricane Helene's arrival. The city issued a statement and spoke to CBS 12 News about the error. Quote, "This is something that was mistakenly enacted. Once we learned that the emergency order was not the order that we intended to declare, we immediately terminated it." Detective Jared Romanello, public information officer for Okeechobee City Police Department, told CBS 12 News on Monday. And once again, here is right here, the release talking about the emergency declaration. So in other words, it was a mistake. Now, I went online and I actually read this. When I first saw it, this was before they had retracted it. I actually went online and I read the ordinance that was quoted. Excuse me. And I didn't know that there were other states of emergency. And I was like, wait a minute. If this is this can't be all that's in their state of emergency. So evidently it's not. And evidently somebody screwed up. And I at least will give them credit for admitting that they screwed up. My question is, why is there something like this on the books in the state of Florida at all? Why is it for any reason in the state of emergency that they are allowed to suspend the constitutional right to keep and bear arms there in the state of Florida? Why should they ever be allowed to do that? I'm sorry, I don't see that. There's nothing you can do that can convince me. Well, let me clarify. There is nothing I can think of that would convince me that it should be okay that in a state of any emergency, that you would make it so that an individual could give away or lose their fundamental right to keep and bear arms. I'm just not going to buy it, folks. I really think I need to reconsider whether or not this is something that should be in their state law. And maybe, in my opinion, something that quite frankly ought to be removed and repealed. Just saying. If y'all are listening, if y'all know the folks over at Florida Carry, go to their website or give them a call, drop them a message on Facebook and let them know, hey, this is a piece of policy that y'all need to deal with. This should not be in the Florida state of emergency at all. There should be no reason why the state should be allowed, why any municipality should be allowed to take away your fundamental rights simply by declaring a state of emergency. Sorry, no. Not your right to keep and bear arms. Nope. That ain't a thing, folks. Or at least it should never be a thing. So, anyway. Once again, I want to give them credit for admitting that they made a mistake. Too many people don't admit they make mistakes. They admitted they made a mistake. I want to thank the Firearms Policy Coalition and the Daily Shooter for getting the word out about this. Because here's the thing. Even though it was a mistake, if you guys hadn't said anything, it would have went into effect. And other municipalities would have seen that and been like, oh, well, this is something we can get away with. So number one, you let them know that when we see it, we're going to call it out. But number two, once again, maybe this is something on the state level that needs to be advocated. Somebody needs to go and say, nah, we need to repeal this. There should not be any reason there. Well, I would, at the very least, I would love to hear the public debate in the legislature about the time and place where you think it would be appropriate to deprive people of their fundamental right to keep and bear arms. I really would love to hear that public debate. I don't know what the situation is. I can't think of a situation, but you know what? I don't pretend to be all knowing. I don't pretend to be all seeing. And I'm willing to admit that I may be wrong about something. I don't think I'm wrong about this one, but hey, I'll give you a shot to prove me wrong. How about that? All right, and then finally, before we get into our parting shots, Jimmy Carter, who until our current president was easily rated as the worst president of my lifetime, which not a, it ain't an eternity. It's not as long as the U.S. has been around, but it's pretty long. It's been a pretty long time. Jimmy Carter was the worst president by far until Joe Biden came along. And now, it's his 100th birthday. And here, where's it at? Oh, there we go. Jimmy Carter. And I got to tell you, it's interesting because he looks 100. He does look 100. And I have to say that his reputation as president has been much improved by, number one, his volunteer work post-presidency. He's done a lot with Habitat for Humanity, building homes and whatnot. I think he sullied some of that with some of his criticisms by getting involved and getting engaged in politics. As a past president, commenting on some things in particular. He did it with George Bush, not as much, but with Donald Trump, he was all up in the Kool-Aid. As when you suck as president and then you decide you want to criticize somebody else, well, anyway, I'll just leave that there. But you know what? I do want to wish him a happy birthday, and I hope all of y'all will do the same. 100 years. That's a long time. By the way, he is the first president, a U.S. president, to live to be 100 years old. So this is definitely a first. Kind of cool. I gotta admit, having president be 100 years old, that is kind of cool, right? Right? Am I? I don't know. Am I just being a little? I don't know. A little too sentimental. Anyway, I think it's cool. So once again, I just want to wish him a happy birthday. All right, folks. Well, now that brings us along to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com, use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, and get your Hog Holster today. Coming up in this evening's debate, well, let's just be real, folks. One of the topics that's going to come up is going to be, it's this whole stolen valor conversation is going to be a thing. And I think this commentator makes a valid point regarding Mr. Walz and the debate and his, how shall we say, his claims to have been carrying weapons of war.
Well, Governor Walz is using his military experience to explain why certain guns should never be in the hands of private citizens, namely the sort of guns that he carried in war. Now, where exactly did Tim go to war at? Italy. Which would be super impressive if it was 1943, but it turns out it was 2003 in service to the global war on terror. Which, imagine how silly I felt. I mean, they sent me to Iraq. I had no idea Italy was an option. Well,
the interesting thing about it is they could have sent him to like a real place of war, some place where there really is, he really could wind up having to, be in combat, some place like, I don't know, Chirac.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, I mean,
What's
kind of
wrong?
stressed. Well,
what?
my job is wanting me to relocate to Chicago.
Oh, yeah?
That's worrying me, honestly.
Why are you worried about that?
Chicago's just, isn't it such a dangerous place?
It wasn't too bad when I worked there.
What'd you do?
I was a tail gunner on a Pepsi truck.
Okay, am I the only one who found that funny? I guess so. Anyway, yes, he was a tailgary guy. It's done for this for a very different reason. It's done because they're trying to make him seem to men, and how you can kind of recognize them in the wild.
Here in the slums of Minnesota, we've stumbled across a rather strange scene, a secretive meeting of a rather peculiar group known as White Dudes for Harris. It's tough to spot these for Harrises in a crowd removed. One can easily identify a white dude for Harris by their alpha male presence. It's a well-known fact that white dudes for Harris operate at peak male performance, the very epitome of masculinity. I mean, just look at that purse. It screams peak male performance. Russia had better hope we never unleash white dudes for Harris on them. These fearsome creatures may be lurking in the shadows near your home, perfectly camouflaged, just waiting on the right opportunity to unleash their alpha male testosterone. Here...
Yeah, that was bad. That was. I'm sorry for those of you who were just listening. Unfortunately, you missed the best part. But hey, you can always head on over to Rumble, or you can head on over to Spotify and watch the video. It's hilarious. It is definitely hilarious. All right, now finally, there's a movie that's coming out. It's being produced by the folks over at the Babylon Bee, and I wanted to promote it and give you guys an opportunity to hear about it because I am betting it is going to be hilarious. But in order to do it, you're going to have to in order to see it, you're probably going to have to be a member over at the Babylon Bee. But check it out, and I think when you watch this, you're going to say, you know what? Being able to watch this definitely makes it worth my time and money. Check it out.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the heat death of the universe. These are some of the deadliest days in history. But none of them compare to the most deadliest day. January 6, 2021. Coming soon in the most epic movie event since Robot Jocks, Left Behind, or maybe even Son of the Mask. The Babylon Bee investigates the darkest day in the history of democracy.
Where were you on January 6th?
In January?
I don't remember.
Storming the Capitol, baby. No.
Scary stuff like this happened.
Okay.
So on a scale of 9 to 10, how terrifying was what you just witnessed?
3? I don't know.
We go on location. We bring you 100% true facts.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was murdered over 7 times.
We ask the tough questions.
Is it true that you have a Jewish space laser? This is incredibly boring. Could you explain it to me using Marvel characters?
We even go face to face with the scariest criminals you'll ever meet.
Are you the dangerous insurrection man?
Who's asking?
We're in. Into the lair of darkness I go. Darkness because he's a Republican, not because he's, never mind. Shame! Shame!
This fall, the only way you can save democracy is by becoming a member of the Babylon Bee, so you can see January 6th, the most deadliest day.
Where were you on January 6th?
I was in that mob that was going into the Capitol.
That's right, folks. Check them out over at the Babylon Bee. That's going to be a phenomenal movie. Go ahead and join today. Once again, I joined because I almost never read the articles. I only, quite frankly, read the headlines. But I use them so much, and I think they are so funny. I want them to keep making money so that we can enjoy them. So go ahead, get over there. If you're not already a subscriber, subscribe to them. And by the way, they are not. Just to be clear. They are not. They're not one of our sponsors. They're not paying us to do this. For me, And by the way, they're also suing the governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of the state where I am. So they're doing good things. I support them. I'm going to encourage you to support them as well. Once again, check them out at the Babylon Bee. But now let's talk about the folks who are our sponsors, who do support us and help take care of us and keep the doors open and the internet up when it's up. We got the folks at Hitman Industries, rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you for purchase today. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly, the conscience of the Republican Party. So says Ronald Reagan. Check them out today. Then we've got Hog Holsters, the best in tactical and concealed carry holsters on the market at hogholsters.com. And then finally, we've got all things tactical except the gun at uscombatgear.com. Want to encourage you once again, if you haven't already done so, please make sure to like, share, subscribe. If you've missed any part of this program, or maybe you part of the internet outage, the internet gods really do not like conservative shows, go over to Spotify, because as soon as the program is over, this is going to be uploaded to Spotify. And by the way, you can also listen to the program wherever you get your podcasts if you just want to listen to the program as you're driving. But do me a favor, wherever you listen to podcasts, please subscribe. Wherever you watch video, and we're there, which is pretty much everywhere, please subscribe. Help us help you. Help us get our numbers up. The more views we get, the more views we get. Right? The more views we get, the more viewers we get. The more viewers we get, the more sponsors we get, and the easier it is for us to stay on the program online and keep the program going for you. So please do us a favor, help us help you. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's program. Thank you so very much. We will be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and if you get a chance, send a few downrange. We'll holler at you later.